All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're getting into something I think we've all felt, that super frustrating, paralyzing grip of indecision. It's a total paradox, right? Why is it so darn hard to make the very choices that are supposed to make us happy? Well, let's dig in.
I mean, think about it. At work, you could be this total rock star, managing huge projects, making these high-stakes calls like it's nothing. But then, it's time to pick a restaurant for dinner, or where to go on vacation, or even just what movie to watch, and you just freeze. It's not that you're bad at making decisions. Nah, something else is going on here.
Yeah, it's like we have these two different versions of ourselves. At work, you're the professional self. You feel capable, confident, totally in control. But in your personal life, that person disappears. Suddenly, you're the personal self, feeling stuck, anxious, over picking a paint color. This is the big clue, right? The problem isn't your ability to decide. There's a different kind of hidden dynamic pulling the strings.
Okay, so let's get to the root of this thing. To really understand what's going on, we need to pull back the curtain on this powerful psychological force, one that's often running our lives without us even realizing it.
And here it is. This is the absolute key. Psychotherapist Juha Klaavu calls it the internalized parent. Basically, it's this unconscious version of a parent, or maybe both parents, that we carry around in our heads. And we're constantly trying to get their approval. So when we're stuck, we're not actually weighing pros and cons. Nope. What we're really doing, deep down, is searching for the one right answer. The one that would make this internal figure happy.
And Klaavu, the psychotherapist, he just nails it with this quote. He says that indecision usually isn't about being unable to decide at all. It's about looking for what the internalized mother or father would want. It's like we're searching for permission from a ghost from our past. And if we can't figure out what that ghost wants, we get completely stuck.
So, where does this whole thing come from? Well, it all starts way back in childhood. As little kids, we figure out pretty quick that we have to adapt to our parents' needs just to be seen and heard, right? To get that love and attention. Over time, that whole pattern of, what do they want from me, gets burned into our brains. It becomes this unconscious program. And then, fast forward to adulthood, and boom, this old program starts running again, especially in our closest relationships. And that's when we find ourselves paralyzed, trying to please someone who isn't even there. Okay, so theory is one thing, but let's see how this plays out in real life. Klaavu shares this incredible case study that shows just how destructive this pattern can really be.
So picture this. We've got a guy who, on the outside, has it all. He's a successful businessman, really good at what he does. But deep down, he's holding on to this secret dream, one he's had since he was just a kid. He wants to be a painter, a fine artist.
He'd been painting in his spare time for years, and people started to notice he was actually really good. All that encouragement finally gives him the spark he needs. He takes this huge leap of faith and applies to an art university.
But here's where the dream hits a brick wall. He tells his wife, and her reaction is just devastatingly negative. Their dreams are on a total collision course. He's chasing a life of art and purpose. She's focused on a secure financial future. And she just brushes off his passion as daydreaming, telling him he needs to focus on making money.
And this is the light bulb moment. He realizes that this dynamic with his wife, it's an exact replay of his childhood. He felt his unconscious job in the marriage was just to exist for her, to be her therapist, her caregiver, even her garbage can for her emotions. That old pattern of seeking approval hadn't gone away. It just found a new home in his marriage. He felt like he wasn't even allowed to have his own dreams.
So now we get to the part of the story that's both fascinating and honestly pretty tragic. With this intense conflict raging inside him, something had to break. And get this, against all odds, he totally nails the first stage of his application. He sends in his portfolio, the university loves it, and they invite him for an interview. His dream is right there. I mean, he could almost taste it.
He had the talent, he had the encouragement. He was so close. So why did he fail?
The answer is just heartbreakingly simple. He sabotaged himself. As he figured out later in therapy, he unconsciously felt that he was not entitled to do something he loved. So his mind found the only way out. He had to fail the entrance exam.
Now, this is the really crucial point. Failing wasn't actually a failure. It was an unconscious strategy. If he had succeeded, it would have forced a direct, conscious fight with his wife, a battle his entire childhood had programmed him to lose. So, unconscious self-sabotage was a way to solve this impossible problem without ever having to consciously make the choice. In a really strange way, it was the path of least resistance.
But the story doesn't end there in failure. Not at all. Recognizing this unconscious pattern was the key that unlocked everything. It was the first step toward breaking free and finding a new path forward.
So, through therapy, he was finally able to see this dynamic for what it really was, a kind of relational trauma. And that awareness, that's what allowed him to finally connect with his true self. You know, the authentic part of him that knew what he wanted, that didn't need anyone else's permission. And the result was incredible. He eventually got divorced, went back to school, and yes, he earned his Master of Fine Arts degree.
And today, he's in a new relationship, one that is completely supportive. And the key difference is authenticity. It's not built on that old chaotic pattern of one person trying to please the other. It's built on two true selves who champion each other's dreams. And that really brings it all back to us. The next time you find yourself stuck, completely paralyzed by indecision about something in your own life, ask yourself this one question. When you're looking for the right answer, whose right answer are you really looking for? Yours or someone else's? Answering that honestly, well, it might just be the thing that sets you free.